Welcome to Bible Chicks, women who are normally just as is, but we're at our supernatural best when we choose to read, believe, and live out God's Word, whatever's going on in our lives. So get ready to laugh with us and be blessed as you hear our unique stories and inspiring music. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be good.
Reading, believing, living His Word, praying, never receiving all the truth that we've heard, loving and growing and hoping our faith is showing. Don't you know we're Bible Chicks?
Welcome again to Bible Chicks. We're so excited that you could join us today. I have a wonderful guest, Debra Thompson. You are going to really enjoy hearing her story. But let's get started with a song. This is a song I wrote a few years back, just a story of my life, my testimony, New Life.
A new beginning, a fresh new start, another chance to change my heart. I'm a new creation, born of God, filled with His Spirit and love. New life, a new life. I've given Him my heart, and He's given to me a new life. The past is past, and I'm moving on to a new life. Another trial, and there's more pain, but Jesus is walking me through it again. His yoke is easy, His burden light, and I'm walking by faith, not by sight. Into life, a new life. I've given Him my heart, and He's given to me a new life. The past is past, and I'm moving on. Through His eyes, I clearly see, and those memories have no hold over me. Jesus gives me His strength, He gives me peace, perfect peace. And a new beginning, a fresh new start, another chance to change my heart. I'm a new creation, born of God, filled with His Spirit and love. New life, a new life. I've given Him my heart, and He's given to me a new life. The past is past, and I'm moving on. I'm free at last, and I'm moving on. Oh, the past is past, and I'm moving on to new life in Christ.
Well, I have found that new life in Christ. He has made all the difference in my life, and I'm so blessed to be able to share that song with you. Today we have Debra Thompson, a good friend of mine. I've known her for many years, and I am just thrilled that you're going to be able to hear her story. You know, if I were going to write a book about Debra, which I've thought of, or an article or something, I would call it Guts. Yeah, I would. God uses talented servants. That's how I feel about Debra. She's amazing. And Debra, you work for the State of California, the Water Control Board. Welcome, Debra. We're so happy you're here.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, and so, you have a busy day. Your work day is 5 days a week. So kind of just tell us, I'll go ahead. You tell us about your day, how your day starts and how you get down to work, okay?
Okay. I rise at 5 a.m., an unnatural time, in my opinion, in the morning. And I get up and I get myself ready and I do all the preparatory. And then I get out and go to the bus. And I leave my house about 6:30. And by the time I've taken my bus and then I take the light rail and then I walk from the light rail to work, I don't get to work till 7:40. So it's about an hour commute or more. And then I work my 8-hour day and take my hour lunch. So I'm there about 9 hours. So I leave work about 4:45 and I come home and I do the same routine and I get home about 6 o'clock. So I have almost an 11-hour day, basically, almost 12 hours.
Okay,
And
so your day, is busy.
It
now,
is.
you take your girlfriend with you, right? That's Adrena.
yeah. I take Adrena with me.
Adrena, she's a black lab. She's
Yes.
gorgeous. And did I mention that Debra's blind? I don't think I mentioned that.
I don't think so.
No.
And Adrena's a guide dog.
And Adrena is guide dog. You've only had Adrena for 4 years now.
Yes.
Prior to that, you were on your own with your cane.
Correct.
And swinging your purse a bit, I suppose, once in a while. So tell me, how come, what at this point of your life, why did you choose to then go to a guide dog? And
I chose because here in California, if you live in Sacramento long enough, you get allergies, they say. And I did. And when the allergies are acting up, I could go crooked in a tunnel and I can't tell which direction's which. And when my allergies are not inactive, I can do straight very well. But when they're inactive, I look like I'm drunk walking down the sidewalk. It's pretty bad. So it's best to have the guide dog for safety purposes. When I'm in a building, I still use my cane because there aren't any cars or people on their bicycles or other traveling like,
right, just whatever.
what are those creatures that they roll around on?
Oh, I don't know. Just the variety.
Skateboards. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Right. And so that, just that busy life that you have. And I know that, well, I just remember before Adrena became a really important part of your life, you did have a few nicks and,
Oh, yeah. I remember one time I was walking across the street and somebody decided they had to honk their horn at something. I'm not sure what they were honking at, if it was what. I have no idea. But it made me jump. I tripped over the median in the middle of the sidewalk or the street and landed on my stomach. I mean, that was not a happy time.
So it wasn't honk if you love Jesus? Is that what you're saying?
I don't believe so.
No, I think they were honking at you, Deborah, but I wasn't quite sure here.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
They could have been messing with their cell phone in their car and hit the horn. I have no idea.
Yeah, so you've chipped your teeth a few times and, just...
Give myself goose eggs, black eye one time, I remember. All kinds of nice things.
Oh, yeah. So you, that's why I say you're the gutsiest person I know, just out there and, getting to the bus and all that. You're strong. You're strong-willed. I'd be a big chicken to try that. But I just admire you so much for your strength in doing that.
Well.
So, okay, so we've talked about, we've revealed that you have a disability. We've revealed that.
Okay.
When did you become blind?
I was actually born visually impaired, which means I was legally blind, which is with a visual acuity of 20/200, which means a normal person at 200 feet can see whatever it is, a light, a picture or whatever, but a person who is legally blind can only see that at 20 feet away or less, or they have a restricted field of vision, like a tunnel vision situation.
Right.
So that's what I had when I was younger. So I could still see colors. I could see well enough to read very large print. It had to be very large. I could see basic things, but I couldn't see detail. I never could see, like looking at a person's face, I could tell the face from the back of the head, but I could not see the nose, ears, and mouth. I couldn't see detail.
Well, Deborah, I'm really relating to that because, I have one good eye, my right eye, but my left eye is still legally blind. And right, you described exactly what it's like on my left side, which I have a permanent callus on my left arm from running into walls and stuff like that because my depth perception is not good.
Right, and distance judging, depth perception, all of those things are just not equal. You can't tell that.
But you can see colors and that. But then you had a greater dimension to that. In your life. And
when I was a teenager. Yeah, when I was a teenager, apparently my retina's further deteriorated or something ruptured or something, we're not sure. But when I was 10, I had a secondary condition called keratoconus, which at the time I had thought caused the visual lack. And doctors have since said, no, that had nothing to do with it. So, whatever. And then for the color went, all definition went, and now basically it's just looking through very thick fog. It can be dark fog or light fog, but it's still fog, and there's no definition of anything within the fog.
You went to elementary school for the blind. Tell us a little bit about that.
I went to the Utah School for the Blind in Ogden, Utah from the time I was 7 through 12, so basically 1st through 6th grade. And I came out to public school when I was in 8th or 7th grade at 13, graduated from high school, and then I got a scholarship from my church to go to Oral Roberts University. So I went there for a year. And then after that, I had to come up with my own monies to get there. And God blessed me. I got other scholarships. I got grants. I got a little bit of loans, but not much compared to what was required for college payment. And I got through college, graduated with my degree in music education.
Well, tell me, you found out early on that you didn't have to have your eyes to express this wonderful gift that God gave you, this natural gift in your body, your vocal cords, your lungs, this incredible ability to make beautiful sounds, and you just had that huge desire to do that. When did you know you wanted to be a singer?
When I was little, I played the piano. As a little kid, I played by ear. And then I got into choir when I was in grade school. And I went, I like this. And then I got singing a few solos in choir, and I really like this. This is what I like to do. And so when I was 11 years old, I believe, I started taking voice lessons at the school. And the teacher said I had excellent potential. And then I went out to public school where they didn't have voice lessons unless your parents decided to pay for them. And so that ended the lessons part. But I was still in choirs all through high school. I got to sing solos once in a while, and it was good. And I knew that the one thing I was really good at was singing. Better even than piano. I could play piano good, okay, fine, but not to the style that I would want to play. So I became a vocalist. I could do that well. I enjoyed it. It was a method of expression that was pleasing to other people as well. So
you were at Oral Roberts University for 4 years?
4 years, yes.
And you have your bachelor's in music?
Yes, I do.
That's great. We're really looking forward to hearing more about Debra and her, how she was able to walk closely with the Lord, even though facing adversity of, just the difficulty of not being able to see in a world that is mostly filled with sighted people. And so we're going to come back after the break and hear Debra's faith walk, her trusting in the Lord, and a chance to hear her sing. So we'll be right back after this break.
Attention event planners. Carole Brewer brings both the message and the music as she presents the King and I Women's Retreat. You'll deepen your walk with Jesus as you discover the heart-healing truths that establish your real identity as an heiress in His kingdom. Be refreshed and reassured in His presence and delight in singing His praises. Carole works closely with each event planner, ensuring a successful, life-transforming weekend away. Learn more at BibleChicks.com.
Reading, believing, living His Word. Don't you know we're Bible Chicks?
Well, we're talking with Debra Thompson today. We're so thrilled that she's with us. And Debra, tell us what you've been doing since you got a bachelor's in music at Oral Roberts University. Then you came out to California. What do you know about that?
I did. I come from Wyoming and Utah, and I went to school in Oklahoma, and trust me, the weather out there is just not where you want to live if you can avoid it. Therefore, I moved to California, where it's beautiful and sunny, and it rains some. So
our Wyoming friends that may be listening, we love you. We love you.
Wyoming's beautiful if you don't want to be around very many people. It's lovely. Absolutely lovely. Big open skies, big sky country, just like Montana. Beautiful. However,
it is. It's beautiful there.
It's
the winters are a little
cold in
hard
the
on the
winter.
voice. So if you're a singer, it's a little tough on the voice. You got to keep it warm. That's
Most
for sure.
definitely.
So tell me now, you've been in some major Sacramento area choirs.
I have. I've sung with the Sacramento Choral Society as a chorister. I was in that choir for 10 years. I'm taking a hiatus. I will be going back at some point, but I'm taking a break.
And you traveled with that group.
I did. We traveled to Europe, and singing in Europe in the choirs in different European facilities it's wonderful. I remember we sang in the Liszt Academy in Budapest, and it was just the most magnificent, and the crowd was responsive, and there's nothing like singing in a new venue in a different place to give you perspective and broaden your visions of what can be done and what you can do. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and that's pretty much traditional. You're not doing too much contemporary there in the Sacramento Choral Society.
It's all classical music, like what I was trained to sing when I was in college.
Right. Me too. But we had a chance to sing together for several years. We stood together at a big choir of like 100 people.
Yes.
And that was at Capital Christian Center. And we did all styles of music there, didn't we?
We did everything. We did contemporary. We did some classical, but not much. Mostly contemporary of some sort with different stylings, yes. And it was lovely.
It was, and we were in some really big productions, both at Easter and Christmas. And at Christmas, I don't know how many years you were. I was in the singing Christmas tree.
I was in the singing Christmas tree about 11 or 12 years.
Okay, well, even longer than I was. I was maybe 8. Mm-hmm. And so those are really big venues where that sanctuary seats about 2,800 people, and we did about 12 performances or so. So we got to get our message out to quite a few people.
Absolutely.
And that was fabulous. And you had a chance not only to sing up in that tree that we were involved in, but you also got to be a soloist a few years back, and that was pretty exciting.
Yes, it was exciting to sing in my solo for the Singing Christmas Tree. It was an event. You had to learn how to be on stage, and you had to, especially when you're blind, making sure you're facing the right way in the stage, so you're facing the audience and singing and coordinating it all and getting it all together. But it was a wonderful experience, and I'm a ham. I love to be on stage. What can I say? And it was just really wonderful for me.
Tell us about your love for the Lord and, what a difference that Jesus has made in your life.
Well, my mom and my dad, my mom was a Christian, my dad was not. And my mom took us to church as children. But Dad didn't go. So we had to decide whether, we knew there were both options. Always knew you could be either a Christian or not a Christian. And when I was 8 years old, I decided that I wanted to be a Christian. I wanted to follow Jesus. I had enough inconsistencies in life. I had a lot of disadvantages in life. Being blind, it's not a bad life, but it's definitely not as advantageous as some being so fully sighted would be. And I learned by listening to the Bible stories and learning more about the Bible as a child that God takes us for what he does for us, not for what we ourselves can do. So when we accept Jesus as Savior and Lord, it's his righteousness that covers us. And we're all equal. We're all on the same playing field. And so I decided that was what I wanted. I wanted to be under Jesus' protection, under Jesus' control, and have him take over my life and be the ruler. And it really has made me stronger than I would have been as a non-Christian. I've known that situations like when I got hit by a car, God was fully in control. I was not. Thank the Lord for that. And getting through school, getting through all the different things in life that don't go the way you planned them to. And God was there for me. He gave me the strength to do what I do day by day, not 10 years in advance, day by day. And he's just been there for me. And knowing that when I get done with this life, I will move into the next to be with him in heaven.
With everything that you've been going through, how come you're not bitter and grumpy, Debra?
Well, first of all,
you're not at
I'm
all.
already blind. So if I were blind and bitter and grumpy, I wouldn't be able to stand myself.
No, really. Yeah,
But for me, I have to focus my energies on what really matter. And so I consider being bitter and miserable and grumpy extra. You got it all going, so you have nothing better to do with yourself. So you might as well be bitter and grumpy. But my thought is, if God is in full control and God knows what's going on in your life, what's happening in your life is not a waste of time. It's not you won't like it, just like no child likes getting a spanking because they did something wrong. You don't like what happens in life most of the time. But if it's for your ultimate best and it's God's control and it's what God has for you and he can make you a blessing no matter what your life is, why be grouchy? Why complain? Okay, no, I don't like it. But God will take care of it. It says in the Bible that vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So if I don't take vengeance, God can do it, and much better. And maybe he'll make, if something bad happened to me from someone else, he'll make, in his way of managing, he'll bring that other person to him. And that's more important than any vengeance or any bitterness on my part, which doesn't do me, anybody else any harm except for me.
Well, you know, when one sense, one of our senses, you know, hearing, seeing, taste, all of our senses, touch. Okay, so when one goes, the others kick in stronger. And God definitely gave you a brain, that's for sure. You're very smart. I love you read audiobooks. You're right on top of.
I'm a book addict. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and you're on top of the news. You know what's going on. So your senses, all of your other senses, you're using in such a strong way. And besides, you know, how blessed that you have a full-time job.
Oh, yes.
You know, and that you are able to walk to work. This is awesome with the help of Audrina. Yes. And you have her companionship, too. She's a beautiful lab.
Yeah, she's
black
a sweet
lab.
dog.
And
she really is a sweetheart.
Great companion. So, you know, and God has blessed you with the provision to be able to purchase your own condo to live in.
Yes.
And so just blessing upon blessing, Deborah, and you've blessed us so much with your music over the years and blessed me with your friendship. So you are and a great inspiration for us. We're just so blessed to know you. What are you now? I know that you're very involved. We were in big church together, but now you're going to a smaller church.
Yes, I am. I'm with the Bible Fellowship Baptist Church here in Sacramento, and I have been stretched beyond my normal capacities. I am now the organist for this church. So going from piano to organ, that's a big stretch.
It is.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it should be to the
non-musician or pre-musician.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Because, you know, it's just got keys, right? Well,
right.
With the piano, all you have to do is play with, okay, it's both hands, but you're somewhat coordinated. But then when you get into the organ, you got to use your feet too. You got pedals and you got control of sound. You've got everything. You can't control the sound by how hard you push on the keyboard. It's all controlled from the pedals. So it's like, and then you've got all these other stops and things to try to work out to get different sounds from it's like, okay, let's see. Oh, and the hands are above one another. And so you're not coordinated.
Two keyboards instead of one.
Yes.
And the touch is entirely different for organ to piano.
You don't have to, it's totally a different venue almost. It's almost like playing something that you're not accustomed to. So that has really stretched my musicianship. And it's been a challenge, and it's a rewarding challenge. I've been enjoying it.
Well, there was a void there. In other words, they needed somebody. There's an instrument sitting in the church.
Absolutely.
They need someone to play it. And you go, okay, you know, you said yes, Lord.
I accidentally mentioned one time that I'd had a semester of organ lessons. Whoops, there went that.
Okay. So you were commissioned by the church to fill that position.
Yes, I was. And I still get to sing solos once a month. Or
Wonderful.
or if somebody else backs out, then they call me to do it more than often than that. So
sure.
It's a blessing.
That's great. Well, that's fabulous that you're using your gifts and your talents for the Lord. You're still getting to do music,
yes,
and blessing people at your job. I'm sure by just your being there and being a great inspiration for everybody on the 18th floor. So that's and anybody else.
And now that I have Audrina, everybody on all the floors knows who I am because they see the dog and they go, "Oh, I want my dog to come to work with me." And I'm like, "Okay, you don't want to be under my circumstances to bring your dog, okay?" But it's a big joke in our building.
Yes. Deborah, give us one of your scriptures that really means a lot to you.
I like John 1:14. For we beheld the glory of the Father, full of grace and truth.
And beholding his glory is the promise that you have. I mean, you see him, you have the vision, like the song, Be Thou My Vision. You can see him in your heart. But someday, with restored vision, you'll be seeing him face to face. What a glorious day that will be.
Yes.
So I'm just so grateful that you could spend some time with us today, Deborah. I know our listeners have learned maybe something new about the challenges of having a disability, but with Jesus there is no disability. He completely fulfills and takes care of all of our needs. So what would you say to someone who's, just thinking about, well, I wonder what it's like to be a Christian. What difference is that going to make in my life? What would you say to that, Deborah?
I would compare it to seeing someone who has barely subsistence getting along in life with finances and someone who has an abundance of financial provision. To me, getting along as a non-Christian in the world, you're barely scraping along. You're barely making it from 1 minute to the next. You have no hope. Not really, not if you really think about it. And when a crisis comes in life, you're at a standstill. There's nothing, there's no help, there's no props, there's no anything. And with Christ, you have the provision for what you need for everything that happens in life, day by day, good or bad. You have your person to trust in, your person to hang on to, your person who provides your comfort, your strength, your guidance. You know what to do. You can go to the Word and read, and you know what God has provided for you and what He expects and what you need to do and what He will do for you.
So true. Thank you for sharing from your heart. We're going to have the wonderful privilege now of hearing you sing Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I
you, Debra Thompson. It was a joy to have you as our guest today. I'm Carole Brewer, and I look forward to being with you again on our next Bible Chick show. And remember, in Him, we live, move, and have our being.